Right, so this is my first video. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm sort of just winging it and talking to my laptop. But basically, my plan here is to document my investing journey. I'll try and throw some other videos in there, but the majority of my videos will be documenting the choices I make and why. On the left here, this figure, this is the total amount that I have in my stocks and share ISA accounts. And yeah, I've gone up to 23,762. This is an all-time high. You can see that I've only been invested in it since the 9th of April. And as I said earlier, this is because this was the turning point. This was where I decided that, yeah, I should probably be putting this money elsewhere and not letting it just devalue in my account, or a savings account, in fact. Yeah, okay. So here's what I'm invested in. I'll break it down one by one. So originally, all the money I had here was actually invested in the S&P 500, but I switched to the Nasdaq 100 because I believe, for me, it's the better option. Obviously, everyone has different circumstances. I'll make a full video on why I chose the Nasdaq 100 over the S&P 500, as I don't think it's talked about enough, and there's lots of people who have heard of the S&P 500, but they haven't heard of the Nasdaq 100. I'm not sure why, because, well, in terms of growth, it's just doing better. Yeah, I'll talk about that at some point in the future. The next thing I'm invested in is the Vanguard FTSE All World. I've only got a small amount in here because I prioritize the Nasdaq 100. And this represents large and mid-cap stocks in both developed and less developed emerging markets. So it really gives you a wide range of diversity, and therefore less risk. Whereas the Nasdaq 100 does take on more risk, but it's risk that I can tolerate at this point in my life. So next I've got gold. I purchased gold as a further asset, just to have something which wasn't a stock. It's doing fairly well, sort of 10% return since I invested in April, so I put 3 months there. It was a little bumpy at the start. It seems to have just taken off a little bit, but it's something I'm just going to leave and forget about. I'm not going to be trading it, selling it anytime soon. And those were the first 3 that I purchased. And basically, what I had done then was, any profit I made from this FTSE All World, I used to buy other things to start with. So Rolls-Royce is a company I sort of looked at this figure here, and it's over the past few years. So you can see in 2020 it's really dipped down, 2022, 2023, and then suddenly it just started picking back up again. And I've been reading about them in the news. They're making lots of developments. I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but a few months ago they announced some sort of nuclear stations, nuclear something, but either way, I can probably show you in the past year. I think it was after I bought, actually. It was probably July. It sort of just took off a little bit. Yeah, so that's that. I only put in £200 in that, and again, that was the profit from the Vanguard FTSE All World. And then I'll hold my hands up and say that the Palantir, the reason I purchased that was purely just to sort of get on the hype train, because if I go here to max, get all the way back to 2020, it was staying flat, and then the end of last year, it seems to have just taken off. I think this is due to sort of the developments in AI, things like that. And lastly, I've got Nvidia. I put a small amount in there just because I thought that there's a chance that it would grow faster than the Nasdaq 100 and the FTSE All World. So it was sort of just I think it's a safe option, just to see if I could beat the market, which, well, you can't long term. Yeah, And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying not to copy anyone's portfolio. I'm just doing what makes sense for me. And that's important, as at the end of the day, this is a marathon and not a sprint. And I will make mistakes, I'm sure of it, as all of us do. The key with investing is just to do it long term, and I think it's hard not to make a profit if you're in the game long enough. I'll wrap the video up there. I've been speaking a lot longer than I thought I would, so I'm quite happy about that. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.